this is what Lance and like Bella and all those big guys always talk about is like after you study enough and you see your setup, you need to hit it with size. Like you have to. It's like that's like what it's about.
Something that really changed my journaling game a lot was when I stopped using the word should, could, would. All of those words, it took me a while. Like it took me a few days to like reprogram because I realized how often you would just put this I should have done this, should have done that, and it's terrible. It's just terrible hindsight bias too. Journal.
He talks about like in trading, like you're gonna fall. You're gonna take losses is what he refers it to. He's like, so you're gonna fall, you're gonna get hurt. He's like, it's inevitable, it's going to happen. So his whole concept was, wouldn't you rather fall off the sidewalk and scrape your knee versus fall out of the skyscraper window?
Trade and Tampa for me was like a super big eye opener in this, and watching 5 great traders take us the same long, but with all 5 different rules and 5 different entries, and they all hit. I think
like I used to tell people coming into the Black Shirt Club, you still have to work. It's not this automatic friendship group that they're going to like be invested in your trading. Like you have to invest into the people in the group first. And it might take a while, but once they see you investing into them, they'll start investing back into you.
This is Behind the Charts podcast, where real traders have real conversation.
I'm in the driver's seat.
Episode 18, Tanner Owings in the building. We are happy to have you, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm very glad Randy's here for this one because I feel like you and Lawrence are like similar in a sense, and it's going to be another great episode. And Randy missed like half the other one, and then he came on. Dude, you don't know how funny this is to me and Megan. When you came on, the first thing you asked is like, "Have you guys started talking about trauma yet?" That was the first thing you said. We're like, no, not yet, dude. Bring it on.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's funny.
I had a call with Dr. David Bonanno yesterday, and I'll get into that in a sec with Tanner.
Oh, I'm excited to hear that.
So we'll get into that later, but this goes back to the whole trauma thing, right? So
okay.
It's gonna trauma. Okay. You're gonna hear trauma multiple times today.
That's what that's what honestly, this will be a great episode because I'm literally in drawdown right now. 2 weeks, like going on 2 weeks of drawdown in my live account. But it's also crazy because like literally right before this, I kid you not, 3 minutes ago, I just closed out an options play 0 DTE and I made $5,160 on it. So it's like I'm in drawdown on my live account, but like it just like all my studying and everything that's like kind of compiled together. Like when I see the opportunity and I miss out on the live, I'm like, no, dude, I need to fucking hit this like with size and go for it. And so it's like, it's not even like revenge trading by any means or anything. It's just like I did with Baba last Friday. I crushed $7,000 on Baba on Friday. And just now, like literally it was NDX options, which is like for everyone out there that doesn't know what NDX is. If you know what SPX is, NDX is literally the NASDAQ version. So it's like even take DGen and just level it up even one more. And like that's NDX. So, but like the setup was there and I knew what I was looking for and I saw it. And it's like, this is what Lance and like Bella and all those big guys always talk about is like after you study enough and you see your setup, you need to hit it with size. Like you have to. It's like that's like what it's about. And so
is the setup that you're looking for at all similar to the setup you're doing for futures, or is it like 2 separate strategies?
The one I did today was literally the same thing for futures. I actually got stopped out by a fucking tick today on the live account. And that was it. Like literally just stopped me. And then I watched it spring back up and I was like, no, I was liquidity. I was like, that was my setup. But like when I watched it, but that's the thing. When I watched it spring and got the confirmation, my brain was like, Tanner, you need to take this. Like this is such a high probability setup. You have to take this, So I'm like rushing over to Robinhood and just like buying just some 0 DT options real quick. And then like it starts ripping right away and working. And then like, as it really confirms, I even add to it more and then like just sit there kind of and just wait through the consolidation. Like I did have to kind of sit through a little bit. I actually was never red on the position, which was cool. And with 0 DTE, it's really easy to go red and then back to huge green, which is wild. But like at one point at the peak, I think I was, before we had all the intraday consolidation midday, I was up like $3,000 and then it pulled back to close to break even. I was up like 100. I went from up $3,000 to $100, but I was like, I have to trust the setup. Like it's still going to make some move like legs higher. We're just in the afternoon session right now. And then finally, literally right before this, we got the breakout higher and I ended up selling it and making a little over $5,000 on it. So
nice way to go into a podcast.
Yeah. I'm stoked because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to been focused on this. I would have been like shit, guys. So it's like I'm happy that it worked out.
I want to talk about that specifically because it's something that Thomas and I and Christine have been actually talking about, and Thomas put it into work yesterday. I was gonna do it today, didn't happen for me, but knowing when you have that, like you said, like how Lance and these guys taught you, like when you see something and you know it, how to like go in with size or add into you're convicted in a winning, and you do it all the time, Tanner. When you take these reversal back to VWAP plays, you'll get a position. Soon as your position's confirmed or you get a confluence, you'll be adding into that position.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I think a lot of traders probably like at the part of the journey we're in struggle with, because it's like, we're good at getting base hits, but it's capitalizing on your A+ setup that is going to make your losing day that much smaller than your winning day, even to another extent of on like base hits are awesome, but you want a home run every now and then.
For sure. And so actually I talked to Lucci about this, Sang Lucci. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sang Lucci, and everyone out there listening, Sang Lucci, Wall Street Jesus, some people call him, like it's long time trader in the game. He's been day trading, I think for like 25 years. He's the OG degenerate. I love him. God bless Sang Lucci. But I was actually having beers with him last time I went to visit Lance because he was like in town for this trader meetup thing we did. And I was talking about just like kind of this exact concept. And he, like him, even just so far deep into the game, just classic Lucci. He came and sat down with me. He's like, oh yeah, because he like sells a lot of options. So he'll sell 0 DTEs a lot. And so he'll be like, oh, he's like, I crush it today. It's like quick 100 racks and like, dude, making $100,000, like selling options. And then I was like, damn. And he's like, yeah, he's like, but he's like every other day, he's like, he's base hitting like $4,000 to $5,000 here and there, which is like obviously still great money. But like when you're in the game that long, he talked about it. He's like, a lot of people don't realize it's just about literally surviving and taking those little base hits day to day. And then when the stars align from everything and you see your setup you've been studying, you practice going hard at it. But you need enough of a cushion and like mental comfort to go hard at it. And so that's also why I love the whole like asymmetrical, like risk reward scenarios. Like, I go for like these really small risk, huge reward. And the way I trade also is I'll take paper cuts. Like my win rate on my day trading account is only about like 35 to 40%, but my R multiple is close to 3R. So it's like, that makes up for it because like when I am winning, I'm winning 3x the amount I'm risking. And so, yeah, this concept of like base hit. The thing is, you just don't accumulate enough knowledge and practice until you get to a certain point doing that. Like literally there's nothing to replace it. And I think that's the hard part. Because even now, like I'm going on 6 years trading full time. And like the setup today, before I would have been shitting my pants putting $2,500 into an options play 0 DTE. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you're going to lose this. You're going to lose this. But when the setup is so good and I have conviction in it, I'm like, yeah, it still could lose, but I'm not as stressed and worried because I'm like, I've studied this setup and I know what it looks like. And I know it should do this for the most part. There's a 90% chance it's going to do this. 95% chance it's going to do this. And so it's just like, it's that confidence. And then when it plays out, just like it did, it's even more confidence. And I'm like, cool. And like confidence is a huge thing in trading. And you only can build confidence through practicing so often and getting your ass handed to you. So it's like, it just takes time. Honestly, there's no other shortcut other than that.
Okay, go ahead, Christine. Go ahead.
Okay, let's talk about the risk to reward, because this is something that I've changed recently, and it's like not a battle, but Austin, he's like a negative risk to reward trader, and he does so well. And I think what I didn't know, like I've struggled trading a negative risk to reward for like 18 months. And I can't really say 100% that doing it this way is going to be the way for me, because I just switched a month ago, but I already see such a difference trading a higher risk to reward. And I feel like we talk to a lot of traders that are kind of like that break even or struggling. And like, that could be one thing that you change that could make a huge difference. And I think that's really interesting because Randy does well with a negative risk to reward. Thomas can even do it, but he's like maybe over 1, maybe not 2, but 1 R, maybe a little bit more.
I'm at 1.5.
There you go. But it's like
1.5 with a 60% hit rate.
I never thought about
Settle down now,
that.
Thomas. Please.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I never thought about tweaking something like that to affect your trading results. And I think it's a good conversation and how you talk about that, that risk to reward.
Yeah. So this concept actually is, it's called the, so first of all, shout out to you for joining the Discord. I'm stoked you'll get some value out of the coaching session and stuff. And what's crazy is that trade that you posted today, that was the NDX play that I took the 0 DT options on. And so when you sent that, I was like, that's the same exact fucking play. I was like, let's go. Yeah. And when you start to see those play out, it's like, that's when you're like, oh shit. Okay. So I always say it's the sidewalk and skyscraper analogy. So I learned this from a mentor years ago. And it's basically this concept of like, he talks about like in trading, like you're going to fall. You're going to take losses is what he refers it to. He's like, so you're going to fall, you're going to get hurt. He's like, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. So his whole concept was, wouldn't you rather fall off the sidewalk and scrape your knee versus fall out of the skyscraper window? And trading options, that never clicked for me as much because I used to trade breakout high volume plays all the time. You buy high a day, it rips, it keeps going, it doesn't look back, you're chilling. Switching over to futures, it is damn near like you are more than likely going to lose most of the time if you are buying high a day or shorting low a day. And anyone out there that wants to go against me on that, like literally run the data, run the numbers. It's like, it literally, you get screwed. Like, it's like buying high a day or shorting low a day. Most of the time you will get screwed because futures naturally are mean reverting products, meaning they always kind of want to come back to the middle. So if you're buying a high a day breakout, that would be the whole analogy of like, you're literally entering from the top of the skyscraper because your risk now is here at low a day, but you're entering here to go long. So once that fails and then wants to come to the bottom and seek out liquidity, you're smoked on your risk reward. Versus the sidewalk mentality is like the concept of sweeps, right? And the concept of sweep is like basically we break a high a day or break a low a day, and then you actually fail to go lower or fail to go higher, depending obviously what side you take. And then you enter there, and then you put your stop just right below it. And so, yeah, you could be wrong. It could still trend continuation. That's still a possibility, but maybe you're only risking $100 to make 1,000 versus like before, maybe it was 1-to-1, and it's like this huge, like big amount of space that needs to go. So once I started trading futures and that sidewalk thing started clicking for me, and I saw some other good traders, what's his name? Carmine. I forget his last name, like Rosado or something. Yeah. He owns Invested Trade. He actually trades very similar to this. He just doesn't call it the concept like this idea, but this dude will have like a 40% hit rate, 35% hit rate. And last month, I think he made $93K trading ES. It's like, because he'll risk like $2,000 on a play, but then when he's right, he makes 20 grand. And so it's like, when I started seeing that and the data and stuff and just got comfortable with taking losses, because it's just part of it. You're going to take losses, and then really started seeing the data fledge out like fully. And then I was like, oh, like this works. And that whole sidewalk skyscraper thing for me, I was like, that was just like what clicked. And I was like, oh, now I understand that concept. So now with options even in the mix, like that's how, when I see a really good setup like it did today, I was like, oh, I can take this. I can risk, very little here at the bottom. And if it works, it's going to start working with options. You're making, 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%, like especially 0 DT. So, so that's why, like, that's how the whole concept came into play. And it's just like a rewiring in the brain, but it works well for me and I like it.
What is like the sentence, the trend is your friend, mean to you then? Because people say mean reverting, but it also doesn't mean reverting. You could just be taking a sweep long in the trend. So how does your strategy play into that?
Correct. So Lawrence calls this a bar. He's like, I always say clarity of price comes with time, meaning like the longer you wait intraday, the more clarity you're going to kind of have on like what direction price is going. Today, right after, I think it was about like 10:15 or so, we finally got that last sweep. And then it was just, straight up from there pretty much. But it sometimes takes that hour and a half, even up to 2 hours to really kind of determine that. Usually by 11 a.m., you should probably know what type of day it's going to be. It's either going to be uptrend, downtrend, or a range day. It's like, there's only pretty much 3 options. So for the most part, you can really determine that with time. And even like some of my, like part of my system that like I still fall victim to that I fuck up on is just simply waiting at least 20 minutes right after the open and like waiting for that entry, because like the earlier I do it, I've just seen it happen. It actually happened today. I think I got in like 15 minutes on my first trade and it was starting to work and hold a little bit. And then news came in and we just kept projecting. And I was like, oh, this is going to eventually take me out. Took me out. I'm like, damn it. That's actually not even where I wanted to get in. I wanted to wait for the sweep. I literally wrote it in the game plan today. Had all these confluences of that sweep area. And again, it's like, I always say it's, when you do something you're not supposed to do, or like you're studying a system and rules behind it and things that work, and then you go and break it because you're like, oh, this might work here, this might. And then it proves to you like what you're studying and building is working. And that's why you have set those variables or you've set those type of things within it. I always say it's another drop in the bucket. So it's another penny in the bucket. So it's like, imagine the analogy of a huge bucket and you're just filling it up with pennies. Each one of those is a confirmation of your strategy building up. And the more you keep dropping it in the bucket, the more it builds. And so I've gone through this many a times, and even still to this day, like, trying to refine myself as a trader all the time. It's like, I'm always thinking of, no, that's another drop in the bucket for that. And, when you revisit those scenarios, you start to remember them a little bit easier and easier. Another good example of this is trading midday. I never really trade intraday anymore. Like after I'm on the West Coast. So after 9 a.m. for me, 8:30 for me. So 11 Eastern, 11:30 Eastern. My data says I usually get smoked because it's midday low. We're going sideways and stuff. I just don't really have a lot of edge trading that time. And it's funny, I'm really good now about not doing it. Like I'm really damn good. I rarely do it. But I think last week I, kind of started in my drawdown. I kind of went into that like almost make it back mode, like mentally. Finally saw a setup I kind of liked. It was like around 9 a.m. and I was like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, let's try it. And then sure enough, we consolidated. I sat through a bunch of pain and torture. I'm watching it. I'm like, fuck this. I don't even want to be in this. Finally starts to work. And then finally actually ends up going back like towards the middle. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then it ends up stopping me out. And I'm just like, damn it, Tanner. But also, like I literally just said right there to myself, I was like, another drop in the bucket for why you don't trade the afternoon, like middle of the day.
So the drop in the bucket can be positive or negative?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's just like the idea of like the bucket is your system and then you're filling it up with pennies to like build it up to understand what works. And so I'm not like really tallying this. I guess I do put it in my notes, but it's like I don't have an actual bucket or anything. But I say to myself this concept all the time because again, what you're building, this is something we're huge on with strong trading, is everyone trades different. Like, there's a million ways to skin the cat. So it's like, but what does your system say? What works for you? Just how Austin's a psycho and trades a negative arm multiple. I would never do that in a million years. Clearly it works. Austin takes payout. Austin makes money. Like he knows how to trade. It clearly works for him. But like for me, what's my system, right? And then some people always give me shit for like, oh, you're trying to catch falling knives and stuff like that. But I'm like, oh, but I've taken $50,000 in payouts in the past 3 months and gotten pushed to a live account. And, it's so for me, it's like, it's working. I just keep refining it. And so it's like, that's what it's about.
How do you, sorry,
Go
Doug,
ahead,
I just want to touch on one thing about the low win rate and like how the paper cuts. How do you deal with not tilting when you're taking these paper cut trades?
I don't. I go on tilt all the time. No, I mean, okay. So honestly,
my biggest fear was stuff like this. That's why I don't do it.
The biggest thing for me is, number one, the more patient I can be to take my first trade initially and be like really, really slow with it, the odds of tilting are much lower. All my tilt comes from trading too close to the open, trying too early, getting pissed because I tried too early, trying this, trying that. And then the ultimate saving grace is just like knowing yourself. And I just know myself, dude. Like I am prone to going on tilt and being a degen once I start doing stupid stuff like that. So using the lockout feature, using the risk settings feature in Project X is like literally the saving grace for me, because it's no matter what. Like, and I always look at it like this too. Today's a great example of it. Like I wish I would have opened up my daily loss limit, quote unquote. But once it hit, because I had the wrist settings already locked going into the day, like I set it, I lock my wrist settings, the day starts. And that's another big hack too, is like if you can just lock your wrist settings before the session starts, you're not going to change it more than like, well, you can't change it, number one. But it's like if you do that before the session starts, you're doing it in your logical state of mind. And so like for me, it's always like, when do I enter fight or flight? When does adrenaline come in? Learned this from Dr. Bonanno. Like he's always just saying, like, he's like, so much of trading is like when you enter these like tilt moments or doing stuff you don't want, it's adrenaline taking over. It's you entering fight or flight. It's like a natural survival mechanism because you're like, you want to do this, you want to do that. And so when you're logical and calm, you're like, oh yeah, I don't want to lose more than $1,000 today or $800 today, whatever it is. Let me lock it out. But obviously in the moment, you're like, okay, well, this could work. I've gotten back from this. I've crawled back from this. You negotiate with yourself. And once you start negotiating with yourself, it's like you've already lost pretty much. So the paper cut thing for me, I just know myself really well. And the cool part is my day like today, where unfortunately I hit my $800 max loss on the live account again. I'm like content with it because I can go back and look and be like, okay, like let me just look at the data and see where I initially went wrong. And I already know it was my first trade. And so it's like, yeah, you take the $800 loss or your personal max daily loss, whatever it is, you're frustrated with that, you internalize it, but it gives you a chance to go back and review. And like, at least you didn't bleed out more. You just go back and look and see where you screwed up. And it's literally maybe 1 or 2 times out of 10 that you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, I wish I would have kept it open, or I wish I would have done that. Because most of the time, 8 out of 10 times you do that, you get smoked. It's just how it is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, real interesting. I want to talk a little bit about like the learning curve within trading, because I can hear like the way that you speak about it. I can kind of envision, I hear the way I speak about it. And I've just been in the Black Shirt Club live room a lot more, hearing people talk. And so often it's, and myself included, all of us, like, I need to work on this. I am working on this. I need to implement this. I want to change this. For myself as an example, I did a back test 2 months ago, had a great results. I've been trading the system, but now I also want to learn how to add into my winners, adding to profit without adding to risk. This is a big focus for me right now. So now I'm slightly altering the system that I tested in efforts to learn something new that I think is going to, benefit my long-term trading career. And, you can hear it in the way you talk of like, oh, I need to work on, not taking trades the first 20 minutes. Like we all have these things. And basically, how does the way you teach the process fit in with this learning curve of finding out what works for you as you're going through like implementing new changes over and over?
Yeah. So it's like, I'd say like when you're trying to learn process. So this is why we use a lot of tools with strong trading. When I say tools, it's like using journaling in a certain way. You actually have structure to it, right? Because Lance actually posted about this the other day. If you don't know how to journal and you're just like, I used to do this, I literally had handwritten notebooks of basically, God, it's probably like 600 plus days, like my first 2 years of trading. And it's just me shitting on myself, being like, you suck at this. You need to get better at that. You did this bad today. And I'm just like brain dumping, but I'm not learning anything. There's no structure to that. And so finally I was like, okay, let me break this down in 2 separate areas, technical and psychological. And so it's like, there's 2 types of journaling. I always say there's technical journaling where it's like strictly technical based on the charts. What bar by bar, what's it telling you? What's your strategy telling you? How are you getting involved? The markups, kind of like how you guys would call it or do it. And then psychological is all the shit that bleeds into why did you execute there? Like what's happening with this? Is there fear behind it? And there's structure to it. And so it's like, I have 2 structures for that now to break down the day, break down the trades, and kind of go through all of it. And on top of that, I do the daily report card. And so there's quite a few versions of this out there. I made my own version. I got ideas from Lance. Lance has like a basic template online somewhere, like on Twitter. And I like kind of took it and modified it and used it. And like I use that with a lot of the one-on-one clients as well, because the cool part about the daily report card is it should focus on a process-oriented goal, at least like the way I teach it and like understand how to use it. And when you're grading yourself on process, you're not concerned if you're red or green on the day, like, which feels weird. So it's like, I compare it to school. It's like, if you're getting A's and B's on your report card, you're probably making progress and doing well. With trading, you may have a red day, but maybe you give yourself an A or a B because you followed your rules, followed your process. And it feels weird until macro, you zoom out and you start to see it actually come to life and working. And that's the problem is like, even now that I'm in drawdown and I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks. Last night, I like kind of broke down like a lot of what was going, like why I'm in drawdown. Why is this happening? And it was all because, like, for me, it's just trading too many accounts and doing too many things at once. So ironically, right when I started my live account, I also tried to scale and got TradeSyncer. So I'm trading all these other accounts attached to it. But initially, there's an issue with TradeSyncer where it was like doubling my orders from my live account to all my accounts attached to it. So I'm like, that's not good. So then I realized I had to unsync it, but I still had all these accounts. I still wanted to trade them. So I got Top Step, I got Lucid, I got all these other ones on the side. And me trading the live account and then going over to those and trading them, I literally just can't fucking do it. My brain is too clouded and like it's just mentally exhausting. And I noticed that and I was like, dude, this happened to me before in the past where I've tried to do the same shit. It's like, if I do trade a side account or anything, it needs to be like one side account and like one trade and just like go fuck off. It's like, that's for me what works. So process wise, I was like, okay, like this is what is bleeding into this right now. It's like, if I can't use TradeSyncer correctly or accept that it's going to double my risk and just like try to go for it, I can't be opening this tab, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. Cause just for me, it's too much. It's way too much mentally. And I get really clouded. And I think back too to like, I'm like, what makes me feel good with trading, right? Like, how do I have a good day ultimately? And it's from taking one or two trades and then fucking off. Like literally like then getting away from the charts, like being done with it for the whole day. And so back to your original question of like kind of breaking down my process with this stuff like that. It's doing back end work like that, where like last night, I went through all of it and I'm going through my daily report cards. I'm going through all this stuff and going like, where did this really start to unravel? Like there has to be a common denominator here. It's like the market's obviously always tough, but it's like, there's still been great setups where I'm like, oh, like that was green and then I let it go red, or like that was green and then I wanted more instead of taking it at the easy money area where I should have gotten out. And so it's like, it just greed and fear and stuff kind of all blending into it. And then noticing that I'm like, oh, I blew like 2 sets of 5 copy traded accounts in the past like 4 days or something like that were just randomly attached on the side. And I'm like, that's bleeding over. I'm like, oh shit. So like that for me, again, going through all that work and going through that stuff, that's the process work. It's like, and if you don't document this stuff or like know yourself to go into it, you'll never know how to break that down. And so for me, that's kind of like how I go about like the process of like understanding that.
And can you implement too much? Like, can people over implement and then under implement as well?
Yeah, for sure. I would say, actually, we just talked about this today on the Discord a little bit, or on live stream. The beauty of like a newer trader, and when I say newer, I mean like maybe 1 year in, 2 years in, but you've actually been putting in some serious work, is you don't know enough to like hurt you at this point. Because once you get to the point of like 4 years, 5 years, you start to know too much, quote unquote. And then like every scenario you can start to kind of like form in your mind of what might happen, versus like a trader that's 1 year or 2 years in only knows one strategy, one setup, and they execute it. And when it doesn't work, they don't go like, oh, well, yeah, that's because we swept this high here and then took liquidity here and then did this and did that. They're not thinking any of that. They're just like, oh, the setup failed. And that's actually a blessing. Like that's kind of how you should be thinking, is just like, oh, like that was it. And so, that's for sure. You definitely can know too much. And it's like, it's almost a blessing just to have like one strategy, one setup, and just execute it and refine it completely.
Yeah. Love it. Randy, talk to us about David Bonanno, Dr. David.
Oh, so yesterday I had a call with Dr. David Bonanno, who was on the Austin's podcast with Tanner. He was Tanner's trading psychology coach, you'd call him. I don't know what. Yeah.
Basically, we connected because he reached out to me on Instagram and kind of was like, hey, like I'm a trading psychology coach. Like, I want to basically offer you a free session and see what you think and stuff. And then like I did it and I really liked it because he had this kind of unique way of doing it with like he was like a PTSD psychologist and originally. And so he had like kind of this unique way of doing like EMDR therapy with like rapid eye movements. And like I'm open to that stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And like started working with him and I enjoyed it. And so it was cool.
Yeah. So exact same thing. Like Tanner, he reached out to me and then, you know, he's developed this app that he thinks will really help traders using ChatGPT and using his methods, but without having to have him like, you know, on the call with you or in the room. And so basically we got on this call and he offered me the free session. And for me, I've been looking forward to like EDMR for a long time. And I got no results out of it. So we did like 5 different times. We tried different things. And I was actually saying this to Christine yesterday. And then as he got to talk to me more and more and more, and I was just like, you know, all this trauma, this. And he's like, I think you just compartmentable. I don't know the word, how to say it.
Why can't we say it?
Compartmentalized.
Yeah, exactly what Thomas said. He's like, you do that and then you just handle things differently. And then I was like, but he's like, you know, you seem to be doing well at it. And I was like, this a lot has to do with trading. I told him like I've changed drastically since I started learning to trade and meeting my, you know, being a part of a community and whatnot. And he said to me, he's like, maybe there's really, and I'm like, are you trying to tell me like there's nothing wrong? And he said, maybe. He's like, maybe you just handle things well and you don't realize it, and your things aren't like, maybe and then I said, maybe I've been just looking for something to always want to blame things on. And it was actually weird when I said that out loud, kind of, because I was like, maybe I just dealt with things throughout my life and I never realized that I was dealing with them. Instead of being like looking back and being like, okay, I'm failing at trading or I'm struggling at trading, it's because of my childhood trauma, or it's because of this happened to me, or I wasn't good at trading because I used to drink a lot of alcohol and all these things that I don't do now. And it's like just letting go of that thought of maybe things are okay. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe I just want something to be wrong with me. So then when I have a tilt day, I can blame it on that. And it was, it was super interesting to say the least, but he's got a different approach on therapy in general. Like he's not a big believer of therapy in the sense you go to a therapist and they dig down deep and rip open the wounds, and then you leave therapy and, you know, you cry and then you go about your life like something's going to change. He's not a believer in that. That's pretty cool because I'm always an advocate of thinking outside the box. I think for too long we've been stuck with like stigmas, and like even in trading it shows every day, whether it's a prop firm or the way we treat ourselves when we trade, like, or people just think, oh, it's a quick get rich quick scheme, and there's the stigma around day trading where you're embarrassed to tell people you're, you know, proud of something that you do very well. It's so on that sense, thinking outside the box. So anyways, I got this app from him. I'm gonna try it. It's basically incorporates his rapid eye movements, EMDR, and then just explains like when you're tilting or if you're having a bad day, you kind of, you know, talk to the app and it walks you through the steps of resetting and reframing everything and rewiring. He said that quite a bit, rewiring and rethinking things, and I thought was super cool. So yeah, it was just interesting to hear somebody in that field say maybe there's nothing wrong, like maybe you're just, and he didn't say you're looking for something to be wrong, but he's like, I don't know, he's like, talking to you, I think you're fine. He's like, we tried different things with the therapy, and, you know, even if we got down to like my fear of flying, which I know exists, but with the EDMR, it just wouldn't, I couldn't focus on it. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
It was, and he's like, he goes, it happens. He goes, it's not for everybody. And then he asked me if I'm visual, and I think I'm visual. I trade. I love Bookmap. I like all these things. And then he brought up a point, and I can tell you any song that I hear, like, not to go off on a tangent, but any song that I hear, I have that attached to a memory at some point in my life. So I'm more audible than I am visual.
Yeah. So on that note of like the song thing, I remember taking a class actually in college, one of like my favorite classes. It was all on classical conditioning. And so like just basically the idea of, you know, Pavlov's dog, you know, hear the bell, salivate because, you know, food's coming. And we went over that type of stuff with like music and stuff, and how it just brings it like almost what it does, like unlock all these things in your brain to like remember like all these connections, like remember a memory and associate with it. The same idea of like too, when you hear a song you really like and then you kind of get over it and you're like, ah, whatever, and then you don't hear it for a long time, then you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, and then you like remember when you heard it and all that type of stuff. But on this note, I think it's a really interesting topic because what's helped me, two things that come to mind is honestly just like having Lawrence be another coach at Strong Trading and just trading with him every day. The concept of probabilities has really helped me, and just like accepting that, like, you know, sometimes your trades just aren't going to work. It's like, it's just not going to work. And it doesn't mean you did anything wrong necessarily. It just literally sometimes they just don't fucking work. You can have a 70% win rate, but 30% of the time that trade's not going to work. You take it 10 times, 3 times it's not going to work. Does it mean it was a bad trade? No, it just didn't work. That's fine. So that concept of probability is like what comes to mind with that. And then the whole trauma thing is like, so me personally with the trauma thing, I feel like it took me so long to finally break through with trading because I didn't grow up with any money in my family. And so like, I was always like, I want to be successful. Like and my girlfriend like helps me with this even, where she's like I tie a lot of like, and men do this in general. So it's like, we tie a lot of our success to outcome success, meaning like, oh, we made money, so like it's achievement, it's value, you know, it's a high quality man. Where like, because I grew up with no money, I always think about that too. So like whenever I would start failing at trading, or like, you know, especially in the early years when I was like going into debt and shit, I was like, oh, like you're a failure. I say all these bad negative things to me and stuff like that. And so when a trade wouldn't work, you know, I beat myself up or be pissed, versus now it's more like, oh no, it didn't work because sometimes it just doesn't work. It's probabilities. That's fine. It's all the other stuff in between of like, did you execute that right? Or did you do this? So on that note as well, when it comes to journaling, here's something that I implemented that really, really helped me. Was I noticed a lot of my journaling initially was so negative. And like I said, I was going through it and I was just like, you know, Tanner, you suck at this. You're terrible at this. Get better at this. Get better at that. And I was like, where the fuck is anything good in here? What am I doing good? What am I doing? Because you like, that's the thing, is a lot of people don't realize is when they break down their trading day, they're just only looking at the bad. You screwed up here. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. Versus what's the good out of this? So I literally started adding a section to my journal calling the good and the takeaway. It's like a section of like the technical breakdown of the trade. And I would start going into, even if it was a losing trade, I'd be like, what's the good out of this? Like, well, you respected your risk. You took your stop when you needed to. You executed the system. It's just a trade that didn't play out. Probability. Cool. Or maybe it was a really good trade. And like, that's like the one I took earlier, where it's like those cement in my brain of like, this is a really good setup. You saw what you needed to see. You executed it. You put on size. You crushed it. So it's like, it's that positive reinforcement mechanism of doing stuff like that. So that's a huge takeaway I'd say for everyone, is like, add some sort of positive reinforcement good section to your journaling, not just you breaking down what you're doing wrong. Like literally put in there what you're doing good, even if it's even if it's a trade that didn't play out, right? And obviously there is times where maybe it's just a tilt trade or you don't even need to review it. There's probably not too much good on it, but you can just be honest with yourself and be like, this is a really poorly executed trade. There's really not too much good, but try not to beat yourself up for it. It's like, so find the good in it. And when I started doing that, that's when those setups really start to like really, really come to life. And you're like, oh, and that's why earlier I could see it. And it's like right away, my brain all of a sudden just goes, Tanner, you have edge. You have edge. You have to take this. You need to put size on this. You have to do it. And it's like a disservice not to do it, because I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good, 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 good. And so it's like that, I think doing that type of journaling leads to the positive reinforcement and leads to the conviction in those really good ideas. And then ultimately, like I said, the big goal is putting on a bunch of size and capitalizing on it, because that's like the really big guys too. Back to like the original like Lucci conversation. He's base hitting, you know, most of the time, but he's like, Lucci will randomly rip $1 million month, and it'll come from 3 days of trading in that month. He'll be like, oh, I made 400 grand this day, 300 grand this day, you know, whatever it is. Everything else is small little base hits, because it's like when those opportunities come from practicing so damn long, from looking in the good of the setups that work for you, that's when you can capitalize and really, really start to push it. But obviously, if you're a newer trader, you don't know when that is. And that's just part of it. It sucks. You got to keep going until you can get to that point where you're like, oh shit, I see this. I have edge. I need to take it.
Something that really changed my journaling game a lot was when I stopped using the word should, could, would, all of those words, it took me a while. Like, it took me a few days to like reprogram, because I realized how often you would just put this I should have done this, should have done that. And it's terrible. It's just terrible hindsight bias too, journaling. So that just eliminating those words for me helped keep it super in the moment.
Your 3 best friends in the trading world: shoulda, coulda, and woulda.
Yeah.
I like that.
When you add to your trades, are you adding to the risk or just to the position size and managing your risk to keep it the same amount?
Good question. Usually speaking, actually, I just talked to a client about this. Usually speaking, I try to move the risk up to a point where I'm like, okay, like this is the new invalidation point. It really shouldn't go below this. So normally the way I add in like a healthy way is I'm still adding pretty early on into the trade. So it's like, I'll give myself an initial breathing room. And then once it starts to prove itself, I'm like, okay, I can add and like bring it up to this next like higher low or something like that. I'm like, we probably shouldn't break that now. Risk wise, when I add, it actually ends up being almost the same amount of risk as I initially entered with, but I just moved up my stop a little bit. But again, with like the high risk reward trades, you have to understand that they need breathing room to initially work. And then there's an invalidation point. So it's like, that's the hardest part, I think, especially for a lot of people in the beginning, is being able to sit through all those pullbacks, bro. It's like, it's torture in the beginning, because we all want it to go straight up and go to TP. Of course, you want that. But guess what? You have no fucking control over that. The only thing you can control is how much you're risking and knowing where you are technically wrong on the trade. That's it. And so I have a client right now where we're working on this a lot, because he has these great setups, has a great system, and he's crushing it. But then he goes to add into the trade or something, and he moved his stop up too tight. And he's like, yeah, and then it took me out here. And I'm like, well, where was the original stop? He's like, here. I was like, did it ever take your stop? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. Like, you're assuming that like all of a sudden, because the trade starts to go in your way, it's never going to pull back and maybe test an extreme. And as long as it doesn't test the initial extreme, it's like, it can do that. And those really good trades are going to do that. They're going to pull back and make a higher low that is 5 points above your stop, right? Something like that, or above your initial entry, whatever it is. That's going to happen in these type of setups if you really want to hold it for a really big type of move. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to understand that, because the market is going to flow up and down all the time. We have no idea how sharp or how hard it's going to do. But like, you have to understand where you're fully just like, nah, I'm wrong here. Like, I'm fully wrong here. And even sometimes you can still do that, and you're wrong when you were right. Like literally me today on the live account, where I had my stop, I opened it up still for some breathing room, and then it came down, stopped me by a tick, and then started going. And I was like, oh no.
That literally happened to both me and Christine yesterday. 2 different trades, same thing.
Like a tick. Yeah.
But Christine, talk to us a little bit about what you hope to gain by joining a new group and getting around a different set of traders.
Yeah, so I'm a diehard BSC member, as we all know. I'll die in the Black Shirt Club. I'll be the oldest member. But I recently joined Tanner's group, the Strong Trading Coaching Club. What do you call it?
Yeah, it's a strong trading community. It's strong trading group coaching and Discord community, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because we've talked about this a lot, and I think I talked about it on Austin's podcast, is like a big believer of community in trading. And I think I said something like, if you can't meet friends, like go pay for it. And I think your group actually fills that really well. Don't have a ton of money to spend, because right now your group is actually not like that expensive. You're giving way more value than what you're charging people at the current moment.
Thank
you.
Are. Flip that. Put it everywhere.
You are. Yeah. And I don't imagine that you'll be at that price for long. So I think it's like such a good opportunity, and you meet like a need for people that need to have a community and meet people. You've created that, which I think is super cool. Sorry, my internet is cutting out. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
all good. Well, she's connecting. It's super easy to tell that you don't care about the strategy. How'd you decide that was like you were going to focus more on the process than than like teaching a technical setup, because that's really so many of these online trading groups, especially if you're looking to make money with coaching. It's like, here's the system, you trade the system and run with it.
Yeah. So for me, it all started like when I started coaching, I really got good at like, I really got good at learning initially the back end journal process work, because I'm lucky enough to have great mentors in the space, befriend Lance. I went to bed every night watching S&B Capital videos. And so like when it came to journaling and like doing all that process work, I was like, I understand this very well and I could teach it really well. And then I saw the need in the space of how many people don't know how to journal or have no structure behind it. So it's like, okay, like this is something I could teach. Obviously from an entrepreneur point of view, I'm like, this is something I can monetize in that sense too. But like that concept of understanding process, again, of like doing the daily work, is what leads any trader to be making progress and becoming better. Like that's the only thing that leads it, like what it leads towards. So I started doing that. And then like when I started working with people one-on-one, and I had all these people come to me with different strategies, but luckily enough, like I have enough technical knowledge now to like really kind of help them with their strategy as well, because I understand basics of like, again, market structure, you know, where the candle should go, this and that. And so I realized I could work with supply and demand traders, support and resistance, ICT guys, key level reaction traders, VWAP traders. I realized I could work with all these type of people. And like, if it's someone that comes to me to trade something and just like an asset class that I don't trade, a good example is small caps. Like, it's like, I don't trade small caps at all. If people come to me, like have asked for small cap coaching, and I'm like, I can't, I don't do it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. So that's like how I kind of stayed authentic in that sense too. It's just like, what do I know? What can I help with? I can help with futures. I can help with options. And obviously I can help with the back end process stuff. So it's like, yeah, I went about creating strong trading group coaching and just coaching in general, focusing on that process stuff, because I saw a need in the space where like so many people don't know how to do this or don't do it at all. So I was like, all right, I'll teach them how to do it, build these people's processes. And like, it's cool to say I've successfully now had 3 people quit their job and replace their income with trading full time.
So
like
cool.
legit. So it's like, it's super cool feeling to be able to do that. And all of them had different strategies, all of them. And I'd say the common denominator between all 3 of those people that were able to quit their jobs is they fucking took it seriously. They'd come to me and be like, hey, I have like a little PowerPoint kind of breaking down my strategy. Like, can we go into it and just, can you give me like your feedback on it? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Like, okay, I've been journaling like this. What do you think about this? One dude right now, this guy, Kevin, I know he's going to make it. He's crushing it. Sends me like a Loom video every day, kind of breaking down his trades. And I'm like, dude, that's what it's about. You know, he doesn't like, I don't require people to do that. Like, there is the messaging support. You can message me every day, break down your trades, whatever you want to do. It's like, but he takes the extra time to do that. And that's how I know if you're going to make it or not. Lawrence did the same type of shit. Brian, who quit his job, did the same type of shit. Like, that's what it's about. It's the process work every day, because those reps actually add up. And the journaling itself, it's crazy. I asked Lance about this at Traders for a Cause. I was like, how often, once you start doing it and like understand to do it, do you go back and actually review it? Like actually go in depth and review it. And this was like something that I struggled with initially, because like I remember I'd do all the journal work and I kind of go back and review it. And like, yeah, here and there in the beginning, it's for sure helpful, but you eventually get to a point where it's just about doing the work and getting the reps in. And it just like another drop in the bucket in your brain of like, okay, I did it here. This made sense. Boom, go on. I did it here. Makes sense. Boom, go on. And so now, like, I really actually don't like full on do insane in-depth review anymore of like going back and looking through my trades, looking through that. But I do the daily work all the time. Like, it's like, you know, I'm very good about that. Maybe like 95% of the time. Of course, I'm not perfect. There's going to be some days here and there where I skip, but like that for me. And I asked Lance that. I was like, how often do you go back and actually review your trades? And he goes, honestly, pretty much never anymore. He's like, because I'm at that point though, really, really deep in the game. He's like, because just doing the work every day starts to program your brain to be like, okay, I know what to look for. I know what to review for, all that type of stuff. And that ultimately, it's just like going to the gym and getting the reps in and just like continuously doing it. Like, as long as you're doing it and doing it with intent, you're going to get stronger. You're going to build muscle. You're going to, you know, get more shape. It's just inevitable. I don't need to go back and look at like my squat and be like, okay, your hip angle could be better here, this and that. I mean, like, you know, I'm taking a bunch of time to do that. I'm fucking executing it, doing it. And then, yeah, in the moment, I'm thinking about like cues and little things I can do to change it. Same thing with trading. When I'm doing my review in the moment, I'm going, okay, like this, having that click, all that type of stuff, and then moving on.
Mm-hmm. Man, really cool. Christine, you want to finish your thought?
Yeah, I hate the rain. If you have Starlink and it rains, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's just so ridiculous. We can only book this podcast on sunny days from now on. But I don't know. Long story short, why did I join Strong Trading? You guys trade more of what I've switched to, and I really wanted to learn. Technically, I know you're not teaching a strategy, but just by watching people that trade a certain strategy, like, I'm going to learn things about that. So like the group coupled with the live for sure. And I've been trading long enough that I know a lot of psychology, but I will never shy away from some good group psychology coaching sessions, especially Lawrence. He's such a good psychology guy. And I feel like if you're not capitalizing on that right now, like, you guys are doing what, 4 calls a month just to sit on those or rewatch them. Like, it's tremendous about value for like a new trader or someone that's been trading for a few years like myself, and especially transitioning to a new strategy that has new rules, that has new mental takeaways. Like, I see you guys handle those, so I'm learning those from you. Like, I have a community on the other side. Like, I have trading friends that I send my trades to, but if I didn't, like, you could 100% do that in your group. You just have to, like, I used to tell people coming into the Black Shirt Club, you still have to work. It's not this automatic friendship group that they're going to like be invested in your trading. Like, you have to invest into the people in the group first. And it might take a while, but once they see you investing into them, they'll start investing back into you. So I like that. Like, I think if I needed trading friends, it's like a great way to find it. And maybe I find new friends that I didn't know I needed. So you never know.
Yeah.
Randy. It's like, fuck all your new friends.
You got no new friends. You got your friends right here. That's all you need.
So yeah, super good.
But
And you guys are like,
no, I was just gonna touch on the whole conversation about the community and like opening your eyes up and seeing people trade. And Tampa for me was like a super big eye opener in this, and watching 5 great traders take us the same long, but with all 5 different rules and 5 different entries, and they all hit. I think maybe one, I can't remember who, maybe Joey Morgan didn't hit or somebody, but I know 4 of the 5 hit the same long, and and it was so cool to see that. And I think when you become a part of a community and you just open your mind up to be like, and we see this all the time, Christine and I on stream, is all these different concepts going on in the same conversation, and everybody's hitting the same trade, but everybody's looking at things differently, and that's okay. You don't have to be boxed into like only trading the VWAP, or this is the strategy and you got to use it, or use this level. Like, find what works. And then I think that never ending component is the psychology component. I think you're always working on that, because you're talking about like a high flying sport, or whatever we want to call this, trading, and the adrenaline and controlling everything and money. And then when you get to a place where you're trading with scale, like I'm slowly starting to have the balls to start adding into positions. It's a big goal of mine. And Thomas actually pushed me yesterday, seeing his trade, to this morning doing that. But at the same time, I had to minimize my risk, take some accounts off the copier that are funded, that I don't want to be, getting into a state of tilt or something trading. So I just think it's super cool, like being a part of any community or multiple communities. Like for me, I'm literally talking to a trader, 2 or 3 traders sometimes a day, like just through Instagram or through a call. And the amount of growth I've gotten from it, like just like having a community above the community. And it's like, I love how Christine's now throwing herself into the strong trading community, right? And being like, and it's hard coming from a community for sure, because people are like, oh, the BSE didn't work for you. And she's saying, no, it's not that it didn't work.
I call it my side piece community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, I'm still part of my original community. They actually just rebranded. It used to be called Alpinicus Trades, and now it's called Power Trading Group. And
a little bit of, I think that's they're onto you there, Tanner, with the Power Trading Group.
I know, right? Exactly. So, and I still lurk that all the time, post little things here and there, and it's like there's nothing wrong with it. It's like you can be a part of multiple communities, and the main thing is like be a part of a community that's like giving you value, right? In some sense. So that's the cool thing that we're doing with the coaching stuff is like, I just notice out there, like there's not a Discord community and group coaching all bundled in one. And so that's why I'm really excited for you to just see our first call next Monday. That's going to be that you're going to be on. But you know, it's open Q&A. It's really like an ability to ask us questions, dive in, and just learn from everyone. And I remember originally back in the day, my buddy Kyle that owns Power Trading Group, he used to do these like webinars like once a month, and we would all kind of get in there and like go over technicals and chat about stuff. And I remember like so looking forward to that because like, especially when you're newer, you just learn so much from people that have like more experience than you or have maybe a different thought process than you. And like the worst thing you can do as a trader is be closed-minded to like a different strategy or a different idea or a different style of thinking or whatever. And like, that's why I always troll the ICT people. It's like, they think everything is like that exact reason why this is happening or whatever. And just like you said, it's like, you know, everyone at the webinar at the Tampa thing was taking the same long, but all different theories and theses for why they're taking it, because that's actually how trading works. It's like one man's fair value gap is another man's pullback to VWAP. Like it's and it's all the same shit. So that's kind of the cool thing actually about where I'm at is since I've like helped people with so many strategies, I can start to confluence some things and be like, you know, I don't trade ICT, but like if I see a daily fair value gap or something, we happen to be trading into it and it lines up with a key level, I'm like, oh shit, dude, that's a confluence. I probably got to take this trade. Like, you know, I see it. I'm not banking on like just because of this, that's why it's doing it. So it's like you can see that type of stuff and build upon it and build a thesis. And I always say too, like just like the trade I took today, the more confluences you have within an entry or an area or a zone, the more you have to take that trade. Like it's like a disrespectful to yourself and like your system overall to not attempt it. Yeah, of course it could still fail, but like today, literally on that pullback to, I had a key level it pulled back to. We swept Asia lows, and at the same time, it was near-term volume point of control. I had three areas of confluence that it came into. So literally, I was like, Tanner, you have to fucking take this. You have to try it. Like you have to. And again, when it worked, I'm like, boom, dropping the bucket for confluences win. Like, you know, that works. So
that's so cool. I love it. I just think, and kind of even talking about that and getting back to what I wanted to say was before that last little tangent I went on is that like people ask me all the time, like being a part of community or like joining the BSC, what do you get out of it? And I'm like, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. And I think that's, that's absolutely any trading community. Like no one's, you're not going to join the community and give you some secret sauce and here's the answer. You're going to be profitable.
It's trading as a whole.
Yeah.
Trading as a whole.
You only get what exactly if you think you're going to come to the desk for 30 minutes every morning and throw a trade on and become rich and that's all you're going to do and never work again. You're completely wrong, right? So, but the community thing is anybody, if you join any community, put in the work and people in that community are going to gravitate towards you because they're going to see you putting in the work. And even just
that's
like outside of
trading,
like,
that's how every one of us met was just putting in the work. That's
what I mean. And here we are having this conversation and we're on episode 18 of our podcast that we literally started just for the three of us to talk. Yeah. And now we got Tanner Owings,
this is
strong
a great
trade
conversation.
Right? It's like we're all friends. Like it's like I would never in a million years think that me and Tanner would be friends. Like he's above my level of when I first started trading, and now it's like we're all the same people, right?
Oh, dude, I can't wait to rip some old fashions with you. Go to get sushi when you're next to like next time.
Coming, LA's around the corner, right? I'm looking.
Dude, that's the thing too. Like, God, if anyone out there can go to an in-person trading event, like especially if you have like one trading friend going, I originally, I mean, how I kind of got started in the in-person space, and even honestly, how I got my name out there in general. When I had like a couple thousand followers on Instagram, as I went to Traders for a Cause, I made all these little cards that had a QR code to my Instagram. I didn't know a fucking soul personally. I knew all of like the influencers that were there. And I just sacked up and I walked up to Mike Belfiore and I gave him my card. And I was like, oh, here you go. Walked up to Lance, gave him my card. Walked up to Be the Story, gave him my card. Like all the big guys, you know, I would just go up and meet them and just like talk to them. And then you realize they're just humans. They're not going to treat you like shit. And because we are in such a unique, super niche space of what we do, it's like intraday trading itself, like is very, very niche. Even swing trading, whatever, any type of trading for the most part, it's very niche. So people when you get in the same room with like them, like they want to talk to you about it. They're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's chat about this. Like, and then I left that weekend in Vegas, and I had so many contact information and people. I got on podcasts. I ended up lifting with Lance, making a friendship with Lance, all that type of stuff. But I threw myself in the fire. Like I literally was like, I need to go to Vegas by myself. Like all my friends were like, oh, you're going to Vegas? Like for what? And I was like, I'm trading expo. Like who are you going with? And I was like, myself. Like I'm just doing it. And so that was like, it was a little nerve wracking, and it's not for sure yet. Knock on head, knock on wood. I don't want to spoil it, but if it all works out, I might be speaking at Traders for a Cause in February, which will be like full fucking circle.
Oh my gosh, are we all gonna have to go to that now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to go
to
meet S&P Capital guys.
Yeah, it's in Miami this year. It's going to be sick, but it's like one of the best training expos of the year, or not even expo. It's like a whole weekend like conference type thing. But again, if anyone out there can go to an in-person trading event, especially if you can get like one friend to go or something like that, it's so fucking worth it. And so that's why, like, even with our event next month, where Austin's speaking and we're all going to be together, it's like I'm so excited. They're just fun, dude. It's like it's just fun to hang out with everyone. The camaraderie, I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, to end it up, I'll second that. I threw myself in the fire, flew to London to meet Austin from California alone for the first. I was like, I got to shake someone's hand in this business.
Sick, bro.
Like, this is fucking cool. Either it's a furu thing until I shake someone's hand.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Man, let's wrap it up. Any last thoughts?
No.
Good combo.
Grateful to be doing these. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. Glad you were able to come on today, Tanner. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Always, I love you guys. A great conversation. Hopefully, people out there get some good gems from it, and I'll see you all in person next month.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.